Hi, I'm Tyson Franklin, and welcome to this week's episode of the Podiatry Legends podcast. With me today is another legend who is not a podiatrist. It is Leticia Moran, and Leticia is my graphic designer. If you've seen any logos I've done over the last 7 or 8 years, maybe up to 10 years, Leticia has been responsible for them. So I wanted to get her on here to talk about the importance of not just developing a logo, but looking at your whole brand and where the power of actually having a professional involved makes a huge difference to what you're doing. So Leticia, how are you doing on this fine day in Cairns?
I'm very well. Thank you, Tyson. Hello, and hello, everyone else. Thank you for the kind introduction and keeping me busy over that period of time. We have produced a lot of logos and different brands for you, all related, but under your big umbrella of everything you do.
I know, and you've also done a fair few podiatrists. So you're starting to get the hang of how podiatrists think. You've worked out.
Yes.
Sometimes
Yes.
we can be an odd mob.
Oh, that's fine by me. No, I have some wonderful clients that are part of your group, and yes, they're based all over Australia. And I myself love listening to your podcast. And even though it's not a related business, just it's wonderful to hear what other businesses do and learn more about a different profession. And of course, myself being a graphic designer, I work with such a broad range of professions. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, that surprised me when you told me that. I knew you listened to my other podcast years ago, the It's No Secret Dr. T, because it was a small business and marketing podcast. But it surprised me when I bumped into you a while ago and you said, "Oh, I look forward to each week when the Podiatry Legends podcast comes out." And I said, "Seriously, you listen to every episode?" You went, "I didn't realize podiatry was so interesting."
It is, no, and it's a bit like graphic design in terms of your services and clients can be such broad ranging, and you can specialize obviously in different fields, but
yeah.
I find it really interesting. And also from my perspective in what I do is having a good understanding of your profession. If I'm helping develop and promote the brand and advertise it, is having a good understanding of what a podiatrist does.
Yeah, I think it's spot on. And I pointed to everyone too that Leticia is also from Cairns, so she loves the beautiful tropics, warm,
Yes,
warm and wet weather we're having at the moment.
It has been very wet, but yeah, definitely, yes, love living in the tropics, but have worked and traveled as well all over the world. And, you know, these days it's not a barrier for clients either.
No.
So we can be based here and living the dream and working for everyone that we need to.
Yeah, and that's a good part. So anyone that's listening to this who is outside of Australia, doesn't matter where you are, everything with Leticia is all done online. So it's not hard to do. And what I said to you beforehand, before I pressed record, was I can tell not just podiatrists, but other businesses that have used the services of a professional graphic designer who has helped them not just create a logo, but create the whole brand and different parts of the visual aspect of the business. It really stands out when someone does it properly and doesn't just go to Fiverr for something.
Yes, that's right. I think it's important to have obviously the logo, which everyone is familiar with.
Yeah.
But as we were saying before, that is one part of the puzzle, which is much bigger. And obviously there needs to be a bit of a marketing and a brand plan, and visual consistency is definitely, when designing a logo, is to think of how that is going to roll out across a brand for a period of time. Like, it's got to have some longevity in it. It's also got to have credibility and professionalism, reflect the industry you're working in, instill confidence in your suppliers and also your clients. But it needs that kind of consistency to make it a strong brand.
Yeah, and before I said as well that some people go, "Oh, why do I need to pay a professional graphic designer to work everything out for me when I can just go to Fiverr? It's so much cheaper." And I said, "Yeah, well, I suppose if you have a corn, I could always get my mum a call and say, 'Hey, mum, here's a scalpel. Do you want to take this corn out of my foot?' Or my next door neighbor or a complete stranger." So that's the difference. If you want something done professionally and at a higher standard, then you pay for it.
That's right. And beside, when we create a logo, it's not only the concept and the development of it, it's the assets that you're given, whether the logo is supplied in the various different formats for different purposes, from signage to websites, different colorways, different orientations, whether it's black and white, color, also elements that can be taken out and used for parts of social media. Quite often I have clients that have come to me and, they have, gone down the route of getting their logo done by Fiverr or their next door neighbor and then go, what do I do with it now?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, sometimes it's a bit useless. Like, it's just a file, but it's not versatile. It's not flexible. And I guess when I work with someone and develop their brand and their logo is to make sure they're given at the end of the day, a folder with full suite of logos that can be used for any application. Plus, a style guide is always important.
Oh, yeah.
Which to accompany the logo has the colours, the fonts that are used, and not just the colours for print, but also for websites. So should it go to a different supplier, like the web company, they know exactly what the colours are to match the printed pieces as well as the digital. I guess that forms the basis. So even they can go out and get done what they need to do, knowing, again, that consistency is always there. The colours are right, the fonts are right. And that just makes your brand so stand out, be professional, and have that kind of real integrity behind it.
Yeah, I know prior to meeting you, normally I would probably get design everything done at the printers. Wherever I was getting my next lot of letterheads done or business cards, I would go to them and say, oh, here's my logo from my previous letterhead. And they say, have you got the artwork? No, I don't have the artwork. So then they would redo something. And you could see things over a number of years. When you had business cards together or old business cards, you could see the difference in colors. Fonts weren't quite the same because all they were trying to do was trying to match.
Yes.
But when you laid everything out, you could sort of see why it just didn't feel comfortable, because there were different shades, different fonts, different sizes. And that's when I learned with you the first time we got together, and you gave me the like the logo suite and the style guide. And I went, my God, what's all this? And then I remember
like
the next time, I remember the next time seeing Scott and Carey, friend of ours, to get some printing done. And they actually said, you wouldn't have to have a style guide, would you? Well, as a matter of fact, I do. And then from that point onwards, every logo you've ever done for me has a style guide that's got everything there. And even today, I was at a shirt printing place, and I asked them something about, I need to get something done quick. And they said, not a problem. Do you have a style guide? Yeah. Do you have all this? I said, I've got it all. And they went, well, that's going to make our job so much easier.
Exactly.
And we'll get it done exactly how you want it. So can I ask you a question? If you go to just a printer, get a logo done, do you own that logo, or do you own that artwork?
Yes, as in you, the client.
I know if I get it from you, I know I own it.
Yes.
But if you just go to, I've heard, if you just go to a printer and say, oh, can you do my logo? Can you design this letterhead or something? That technically you don't always own the artwork.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, the industry, well, from what I know, I'm not legal at all, but the industry, the creative and advertising industry, I believe don't have any particular guidelines. So it is at the discretion of the printer. And I know some of the larger ad agencies I worked for, it was the property of the agency, unless there was a release fee that was paid. So I would say, there's no hard and fast rule that I know legally, but it is at the discretion of the company. But I personally, if someone comes to me and asks for something to be designed, you are paying for my service, my creativity, and a product at the end, which I will give you. But I believe that's your product as well.
Yeah.
I have no need for your logo. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to start a business using your logo. I will use it on social media, in a portfolio, for promotion of my own kind of service as a designer. But I personally, if I do work for someone, by all means, you own that logo.
Okay, that's always good to hear. So what
Yes.
about if someone was using Fiverr? How would that work there? Do they own the logo, or does the person who designed it on Fiverr own the logo?
I have never used Fiverr,
I
to
didn't
be
think you
honest.
would. That would be funny. You go, well, actually, when I use Fiverr and get my artwork done.
I have never used Fiverr, and I've never used Canva.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what the
I use
legalities
Canva. I
are
use Canva a bit.
around there. Yes, I
Yeah.
know people. Yeah, it is quite handy, and I design templates. Social. I actually design a lot of social media templates for my clients that use Canva. But they just, obviously it's customized for them, and they pop it into Canva to use as they will. But yeah, I don't design in that program, if you like. So again, I don't know. I probably should find out. I don't know where you stand with logos with Fiverr. Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
No. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Like I've used Fiverr for certain things when I've been in a hurry. I said, "Oh, can you I need this done?" And it might just be a tweak of something or something added. But now I use Canva. A lot of my artwork that I do for the show tiles and all that, I just quickly throw them together on Canva because it's really easy. But when it comes to designing a new logo for something completely different, I don't even attempt to do that because I know it's not in my skill set to do it. And I want to share how I came across you in the first place, or what sold me on using you. Okay. I think I told you, or maybe I haven't told you. Yeah, you know.
I'm not sure. Oh, this could be interesting.
Was when I was first advised, oh, you should talk to Leticia. She's really good at this. Okay, not a problem. Let's check out this Leticia person. So I checked you out, and I went onto your website. I think I was looking through your portfolio, and all of a sudden I saw that you did the logo for Bee's Knees.
Yes, that catches a lot of people's eyes.
And when I saw that, and Bee's Knees, for people that don't know, is a really, really nice honey wheat beer. And when I saw that, I went, well, if you're good enough for Bee's Knees, then you are good enough for me.
Oh, thank you.
So that was the selling point.
Oh, that's great. See, this is well before craft beer was even in vogue. That was
that's true.
Yeah,
it was one of the really early ones.
It was, yes, and that was a microbrewery actually at Sanctuary Cove called Masthead Brewing. Obviously, that particular line did have quite a commercial kind of value that CUB, Castle United Breweries, bought them. So then it became, part of their.
It's still a really nice beer. Like, it's not that I drink that all the time, but probably once a year I'll be at Uncle Dan's and
yes.
In Australia, Dan Murphy's, for people overseas who don't know what I'm talking about. And I'll see it there. It'll be a 6-pack, and I'll go, I feel like a bee's knees. And I'll go, and every time I'm drinking one, I think of you.
Oh, oh, that's great. I actually still have that packaging piece in my portfolio.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it is so unique, and it's quite timeless as well. And obviously familiar with a lot of people that are familiar with that brand and the beer. So that's good to hear.
But that's the other part too, what you just said then about being timeless. I think when something is designed well, you get a lot more years out of it than when you try and throw something together yourself, because at the time, I think when you're just trying to do it yourself or trying to work with someone in Fiverr who's just going to do what you tell them, they're not going to challenge you or anything. That was so I think sometimes you can be thinking in such a like now moment, what is popular now, and you do that, and then all of a sudden you build your business around that, and then 2 or 3 years later, your logo already looks old because
that's right.
There's something wasn't right.
That's right. And I think that's having the experience as I have had 26 years now in design, advertising, branding, is you are aware of obviously what's in fashion and what's happening, but also have the understanding of colors and fonts and the usage of them. Like obviously the font needs to be legible all the time. It could be a really cool, funky font, but one, it may not represent your business, and 2, you might not be able to read it by the time you put it onto, your uniform. So there's just lots of practicalities to think about, which sometimes I think I forget is just ingrained in me from doing it for so long, that you do go through the motions, but it's just having that kind of forward thinking of the usage of the logo besides just in this moment of time or just on a piece of paper. And quite often when I am working on the concepts for people, is not just presenting the logo on a white piece of paper, is putting it into actually some type of piece, whether it's a business card, a website banner, or something that gives it something tangible as a working piece, because it's good to see it in perspective.
Well, there's one, I remember that was always something you said to me, whatever logo you come up with, Tyson, it's got to look good in black and white, in the colors that you want to have it in, like reverse colors. When it's shrunk down, when it's blown up big, it's still going to be really legible. And since you told me that, the amount of times I've seen logos from different businesses that obviously weren't designed by you, and they might be a group of 10 people that are a sponsor of a particular event.
And that's when it's obvious.
And they'll have them all down the bottom, and you can tell the ones that are professional, and you can tell the ones that, not a lot of thought went into that, because when they squish it down, it just looks like a blob. It doesn't, there's nothing about their logo that really stands out.
Yes. Yeah. And as I said, that's a reflection then of your business, the professionalism, the integrity, the confidence someone has in what you're doing. So no, all those things are important to think of, because as you say, when there's a group of logos together, you need yours to be sharp, crisp, clear. Yeah.
And I've seen other ones where someone's logo, their tagline is actually part of their logo as well. And therefore, every time they get it printed and when it's shrunk down, there's no way in hell that you can actually read that tagline. So all of a sudden you see the logo really small and there's just a blur underneath of something.
Yes.
You need to get a magnifying glass out to go, oh, that's what you do. That's what your tagline was. So I like it when you gave me mine, it had with taglines, without taglines, there was like a lot of different variety as well.
Yes, and that's right, because there's so many different applications and pieces of collateral that you're going to be using that you're going to need something different. And like you say, on a sponsor logo, you're not going to need your tagline if it's only going to be, 10 millimeters small.
Yeah.
But if you're wanting it on some signage or a brochure, it's great to have it there.
Yeah, and even like social media, just because you may have your certain logo, and I've seen a lot of people where their logo is very horizontal, but most social media is not horizontal. It's either square or it's a circle.
Yes. And
then they try and put their logo in there, and all of a sudden they've got this long horizontal logo and all this white space around it, and it doesn't look very good.
No. And that's these days is having the game plan of designing for so many different, applications. And web designers would have the same problem, whether it's for a desktop computer, a tablet, a mobile phone, how that website looks. And it's obvious again whether it is done by someone who knows what they're doing, so it looks exactly correct on every device. It is. There's a lot more to think of, and it's all part of your brand, and it kind of shows when you really pay attention. So
a podiatrist is listening to this episode and they want to come and work with you. What's the process that you take a person through?
Okay.
What's the step? So I'm a crazy podiatrist sitting out there, and I suppose it could be a couple of different types. You could have someone who's got existing business, well established, they've been around for a while. They may have a logo, but they don't have a style guide or anything that goes with it. Or you might have someone who's just about to start the business. So would you deal with them differently?
Yes, the process is similar, but different. So someone coming to me with an existing business and logo, once they engage with me, obviously go through the motions, I would send them my folio, which would showcase my work, pieces that are relevant, pieces that aren't. But from there, usually we'd work out, with their logo, are there elements they want to keep, or are they totally rebranding it from scratch? Or, they might be like, I really, really want to keep, like yourself, your maroon color.
Yes.
That was like a given.
Barcelona red.
We are keeping Barcelona red. That is a definite. So some people are like, that's great, and then from there we kind of work on a creative brief. I have a client briefing form that I've developed over the years, which has really, questions just to kind of put that brief together about, the name of the business, the tagline, who your clients are, the demographic, the services you offer, who your competitors may be, what type of the brand feel you would like to get across. And from there, I always find it's really important to ask questions like, what colors do you like? What colors do you not like? Because as you said, you were quite kind of passionate about your color. Other people are like, don't care. Other people like definitely hate green, and just little things like that are really handy to know to develop the design brief. So for someone, they maybe want to keep the elements, I would come up with a logo redesign. So it may not be totally from scratch. It may be keeping certain elements, whether that's a color or a font or an element, but we might modernize it with new fonts, some fresh colors. That would be down that track. If someone's starting a business from scratch, it would be going through the same process, the name, tagline, colors, but it may take a little bit longer to kind of try a few different creative avenues of something that might be reflective in their logo, whether it was an icon they had in mind or a color. And I usually do a suite of concepts and explore different icons, fonts, colors. I always show the logo working in different formats, like you said, horizontal, vertical, one color, full color. And from there, I kind of would send off a PDF with those concepts on there. Quite often, as I said, my clients aren't in Cairns, so we send them off, might have a Zoom meeting, talk through it all, and we kind of go from there. So
with people, if they've already got an existing logo, and you said you talk to them about what do they want to keep, and if somebody is saying to you, I want to keep this and I want to keep that, and you look at it and you go, that's just, it's outdated. You're not scared to actually say to them,
I would say
outdated.
That it probably is time to, refresh the logo, and there are some elements in there that are making it outdated. And sometimes clients may be very, headstrong on something they want to keep. Quite often I will go down that route of exploring what they think, but then I would put in an option of what I think would be a better, direction for their logo to go in. More often than not, once they see the difference, they understand. So they're two different scenarios. I do have people that come and their logo they need a little tweak. Like you say, it might just, the elements might be not too bad, but the colors might be outdated. So that's kind of an easy fix. But I do get new business that come, a couple I have had from a podiatrist from your podcast as well, and they are from Fresh, and it's really nice working with them. Everything's very exciting and new. And quite often through I can tell the ones that have gone through your coaching, because they're very good at answering my questions.
It does make you direct. I'll just point out to everyone, I'm not getting any kickbacks off Leticia for having her on here or recommending her to see anybody, even though you did send me a gift not too long ago, which was really cool as a thank you for referring someone to you. But it's like anytime I recommend anyone, whether it's websites, graphic design, doesn't matter what it is. Usually when I recommend someone, trademarks, there is no kickback. I do it because I want the person to, these are the people I use and trust. So if I trust them and they've always done really good work for me, then I'm sure they're going to do good work for you.
Yes.
So that's
and likewise, like I often get people asking for referrals for photographers, illustrators, web designers. And likewise, I don't gain anything out of it either, but it's good. I mean, I work with all different types of creative people. So if I can pass on a good referral, I know they do a good job. I'm more than happy to do that, because it's important. And I know the referrals that I have got, or people that have heard some of my my talks with you, they've been really nice to work with, and really understanding, open to suggestions, and it's formed a really good client relationship.
Do you ever get any of that? Before I ask you the next question, if people want to get hold of you, what's the easiest way of doing that?
So the easiest way, it would be, I'm on LinkedIn under Leticia Moran Creative, and my email is Leticia, LETICIA @ lowercase l lowercase m creative.com.au.
Yep.
I don't have a website.
No, that's
anyone
fine.
Is looking, if anyone is looking, I know because quite a lot of people don't have a website. I'm like, no, I don't. Which is quite.
Nikki Jerd from Precedence has not convinced you yet to have a website.
I know we talk about it. We do talk about it, and I find it is quite, it's interesting. I don't.
Well, it's one of those things though that you're busy. Like you're busy without having to have a website. And a lot of the work that you get, I know, is purely through word of mouth. So it was through word of mouth that I was initially told about you. That was from Andrew Griffiths, I think it was, because you used to do all Andrew's stuff.
I still do.
Yeah. So you were doing his stuff. He said, "Oh no, you need to talk to Leticia." Then I saw B's knees. I went, "You're obviously good at what you do." But I know I've told so many people to come and see you, and I know everyone that I've referred to you has raved about how easy you were to work with and how happy they were with the end result.
That's great. That's really good to hear. And that makes my day. And that's why I love my job, because I have such a wide range of clients as well. And as I say, that's why I love listening to your podcast to learn more about your industry. But the people that I've worked with in your industry have been great to work with. And I kind of, all my business is word of mouth and referral. And they've all been, as I said, I can't even count on one hand the amount of bad clients I've had, like, because everyone, likewise, anyone I refer, I'd never refer someone that I didn't value either what they did or them as a person. So it's really nice. I do have an Instagram page as well.
Well, actually, you're also in the Podiatry Business Owners Club. I invited you into the Podiatry Business Owners Club. And people who are listening to this, if you don't know what the Podiatry Business Owners Club is, go on the Facebook, answer 3 simple, first, find the Podiatry Business Owners Club. Don't get us mixed up with the Podiatry Business Owners Group. They're really boring. That's the boring group. You don't want them. You want the Podiatry Business Owners Club, answer 3 questions and you're in. But I've got a few people that I work with, like yourself, that I've invited into that group. So if people wanted to reach out to you, they can easily do it through there as well.
Yeah, that's another avenue, definitely. Yep. So I'm on there now. So you can find me through those various ways. But
So have you had any failures? Like, have you done anyone's logo that all of a sudden they were just like, you've eventually just gone, we can't work together? Or have you just had to buckle, like they've gone, no, I want that bright orange in my logo?
You sometimes do have to choose your battles. I must admit, no, I've had very few failures. I kind of, again, when I have met someone and had a meeting and we've kind of worked out the brief, there have been those times where you get that gut feeling. It's like, I don't think we're on the same page.
Yeah.
And
that's okay. Like,
it is okay. Because, you can't be everyone's cup of tea. And I also can't, I'm a graphic designer and I can do logos, but I am not a, person of all styles. And, like, I'm not a fine art illustrator. So if you're coming to me to have something that looks like a really nice piece of artwork, like it looks like it's been painted, that is, I'm not the right fit. I would say I'm definitely, I work in the corporate sector. I work with a lot of health and allied health businesses. So my clients align with that. So you would see, if you look on my Instagram page, the clients I do work for, I think I've kind of almost, got a niche for what I do. And I do find when someone comes to me wanting something out of that, I also get a bit uncomfortable because I'm like, I'm not the right person. Like, I know the style you're after and I love that style, but that's not me. So I think with experience, I've got better at saying, I don't think I'm the right person for what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah, it makes total sense though, because I do exactly the same. It's like with business coaching. I already know that I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
the people that do work with me and we get on well, I mean, the results they get go through the roof.
Yes.
But I know there's other people that go, no, I'd rather work with a bigger organization that just gives me a coach that we do a few things. I don't really want to connect with them too much. Whereas I really want to connect with the people that I work with.
Yes.
Because it's just the way I work.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm not for everyone, the same as you're probably not going to be for everyone. There's still going to be people who'll listen to this and go, Leticia and Tyson, that was great, but I'm going back to Manuel on Fiverr, who's over in Mexico. He needs my money.
Yeah.
And he does. And like I said, and there's nothing wrong with using Fiverr, Canva, all these different things for certain aspects of creativity.
Yes.
But I think if you really want to take your business to that next level, you've got to do it professionally.
Yeah, exactly. And that goes back to your example of getting your mother-in-law to do your corns.
Oh, I'd never get my mother-in-law to do it. I'd get my mum. I reckon I'd get my mum to do it. Actually, you know what? No, it'd be safer to get my mother-in-law because my mum wouldn't. My mum would just. I remember once. I'll tell you a story. This back in the 70s. Everyone had the shag pile carpet, the thick carpet through the house.
Yep.
And I'm jogging through the house or running through the house, and all of a sudden, bang! I've hit the deck. And I look down, and I've got this like 4-inch needle down through my big toe joint. It's got through the front of my toe. It's gone down through the joint, and it's sticking out by about an inch. Now, I didn't know how long this thing was to start with. And I'm lying on the ground, I'm rolling around, and my mum came up. My brother's going, oh, look, damn, there's blood coming out. And mum's gone, grabs my foot, grabs the end of the needle, and just reefs it out. Like I had a bunion operation. It's like pulling a pin out of a bunion operation. And she looks at it and she goes, I've been looking for that bloody thing everywhere, and just walked off. And my brother went, oh, that's cold. That is
tough
cold.
Tough love.
Yeah. So I think I'll get my mother-in-law to do my corn before I get my mum.
Good idea. Yes.
Yeah, she'd go in. So so we've got through what podiatrists need to do, like to get in touch with you, and then you work with them and you go backwards and forwards. To wrap up, do you have a final tip for anyone that's listening to this, like a tip that they should be thinking about?
For if in regards to logo design or
well, yeah, just so you're looking at, they might already have a logo that they sort of like, but do you help with if they need other things done, like brochures and a whole pile of other things? It's not just that initial work, not just that initial work and sort of running through, but you would help them with other things as well.
Yes, yep. And I actually have a podiatrist as a client that came to me with their own logo and a brand, and it was fine. But they had changed designers, which is fine. That happens as well for all multiple reasons. And I've been working now with them for quite a few years. The logo is still the logo. They've still got the same fonts and colors. However, just recently they'd opened a new clinic, and we've just redesigned all their collateral, and we've taken away elements that were part of their old brand, just refreshed everything. And that has kind of extended from signage to brochures, business cards, flyers. So yeah, by all means, it doesn't have to be, from the ground logo working through to all the other pieces. Quite often, people change designers, they change agencies, and come with a logo. And sometimes, again, I've also had people come to me that have come to me with a logo, which is a really nice logo, and there's no style guide. And as part of the service I offer is quite often they say, we get to, go to the printers to have business cards done, we get this done, T-shirts and signage, and it's always different, like you were saying.
Frustrating.
And very frustrating and costly as well. Frustrating for the client, frustrating for the printer, because they want to do a good job, but they can only work with what they've got. So I have had quite a few clients that I go, look, I think we need to get your guideline sorted out first, your style guideline, and I will simply just go in, extract the colors, the fonts, and put together a document for them which outlines what those colors would be, whether it be for digital or for print, and what the fonts are, and just say, this is going to be your base guideline, your Bible to use for anyone. After we've finished working together, you've got something to go out with. So that I have found clients have been really, really appreciative and grateful that I can actually give them that. And then I find they become long-term clients, because then they're like, oh, actually, I've never really liked this brochure. I've never really liked this business card. Could you do them can you redesign them as well? So of course, and that as well, what I really enjoy doing as well, because that to me forms a brand moving forward and makes all their pieces consistent. And it makes them really happy when they get all these pieces in front of them and they go, oh my gosh, they all match. Like they look so good and they look professional. And yeah, I enjoy doing that.
And it's fun. It's like you said, when you go to a printer, when you did my style guide, you said, this is what your letterhead will look like. This is your business card. So when I've gone to get things done, I've just sent them that. Therefore, I didn't have to pay for artwork because it was already all done. And every time I've done it, I've saved money long term. Like I was talking before about some shirts I'm getting done up for a golf day. And the first thing they said to me is, do you have a logo? Do you have an EPS format? Yes, I do. Yep. I've got it all sitting here. I can just send it straight to you. So straight away, not only I think long term it saves you a bit of money, but also saves you a lot of time than dicking around trying to find things and sending them. Have you got a logo? Oh no, but I've got this letterhead. Can you base something off of this or this old business card? And okay, sometimes you can just, like I said right at the start, you can look at a business that has done everything professionally, and you can see it right through everything that they actually present to the public, and you can see the people that are trying to do it on a budget.
Yes.
And it really stands out.
Yes. And I know at the beginning there are a lot of costs involved with either starting a new business or rebranding, but it does, as you say, in the long term have benefits because you don't want to be paying for printing mistakes, wasting your time trying to find files. So you just have to weigh up, I guess, your investment that you have in your brand and in your business and how that you're going to go forward with that.
Yeah. And even though I keep everything well protected, I still, in the back of my mind, I don't care if my computer crashed and I lost everything because I assume you have a backup.
Yes, I do.
So I live with no fear.
I'm your cloud, an extra cloud. Yeah,
an extra cloud. But I do. It's been times where I've had a logo that I've been using for a number of years and I've reached out and you said, oh, is there any chance you could do this? And you're going, yeah, not a problem. And then you just maneuver a few things around, or can I add this to it or take this away? And it's just been it's done in a matter of days. It's done.
Yes, that's right. Now, I just remembered going back to your question, which I don't think I answered, about advice for someone. Yes.
Final tip.
Yes, final tip.
Final tip. Yeah, well,
I went on a tangent.
Well, no, I asked you final tip and then I went on a tangent as well. So now that we're back, what is your final tip to wrap up this podcast? What's a final tip for any podiatrist or somebody who's not a podiatrist who's listening to this when it comes to graphic design, logos, branding?
Is, I think, thinking about what your ideal outcome, Nick, would like to be. So going and approaching the designer with a clear kind of plan about what you want to do. Like, do you need a new logo or do you need a redesigned logo? I think just having it clear in your mind what you want to do, it makes it really easy for a designer instead of trying to navigate through your mind and what you think you may need.
Yeah, I think that is a fantastic way to wrap it. So, Leticia, I want to thank you for coming on the Podiatry Legends podcast and sharing your wisdom.
Thank you for having me, Tyson. I hope that was helpful for some of your listeners.
I'm sure it would be. And like I said, anyone who's listening to this, if you're in the Podiatry Business Owners Club, you can find Leticia there quite easily. And I'll put her other details on my website. Just go to tysonfranklin.com and follow the podcast links there. And if you're not in the Podiatry Business Owners Club, what are you doing? Come on over. We put a lot of funny things. My wife posted something really funny the other day. And what did it say? It had this picture of this lady riding a cow. And she's like lying on top of this cow. And it says 2 things that we'll say Leticia likes: drugs and horses. As this woman lying on this cow walking down the street. I thought it was hilarious. But so did a few other people. So that's the type of quality stuff you get to see in the Podiatry Business Owners Club, as well as I post different business stuff in there, business tips, some good quotes, marketing ideas, a few videos. So check it out. So anyway, Leticia, thank you for hanging around for my rant.
You went on a tangent.
I know. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Okay, thank you.